Hey everyone, I'm Emily with More to Me Designs and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be putting together the pieces for month 3 for the Are You Game Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I cannot believe how fast these months are flying by. I cannot believe we're already putting together pieces for month 3. So that's what we're doing today. If you guys want more information about the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, definitely check out my video on clue number 1. I definitely go more in depth about what it is, and you are also more than welcome to comment below any questions that you have. I'd be happy to answer anything. I'll try to leave any links below in the description below the video, so you can go check out Cotton Cuts if you're interested. You can check out me and all my social media and contact me, anything. So we're gonna go ahead and put together the pieces today for month 3. So I'm really excited. The directions look very, very simple. Kind of just putting together these 2 blocks today. So I am super excited to get started and knock out month 3. So let's go. Okay, so just like the 2 months prior, we're going to go ahead and get all of our fabric laid out and organized, and we're going to count and make sure they send us all the appropriate pieces. So we're going to go by our key here, and we're also going to go by the little diagram they show us here of how much we should have each piece. So 8 C pieces, 8 E pieces, 8 D pieces, 8 F pieces, and then 2 bigger square D pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and count those and get them organized, and then we will be ready to sew them together. Okay, so I counted all of my pieces. Everything is accounted for. So we're going to move on to step 1. So step 1 has us just working with the triangles for now. So we're going to take all of these pieces and put those to the side that aren't the triangles. All right, and they want us to combine 8 different squares with C and E fabric. Just like that. So go ahead and just place all your pieces together on your table. So again, you know you have everything that you need. And you should have 8 of these squares. Alright, so with C fabric in the upper left hand corner and the E fabric in the bottom right hand corner, we should have 8 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8. So go ahead and put those right sides together. You guys should be definitely pros at this by now. So we're going to go ahead and put all those pieces right sides together. And we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance down this long edge. And if you're starting to feel confident in yourself and you feel like, you know, you can do this, you can do chain stitching, which is basically running them right through the machine in a row without cutting the thread each time, just like letting your needle go a little bit in between each one, and then they all come out in a big old chain, and then you can just snip the threads in between, and it definitely makes sewing go a little bit quicker if you need it to. Don't feel like you have to do that if you're not confident, but it definitely is a quicker approach if you guys are looking for one. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these sewn together, and then I'll meet you at the ironing board. Alright, so I have all of my triangles put together, so we are going to be pressing our seams towards the C fabric. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a finger press first, and then just going over with the iron. Make sure not to be stretching any of your fabric really too hard, just a light finger press and then a light press. If you guys are doing cranium fabric, your C fabric should be the lighter teal opposed to the darker teal. Alright guys, so you should have now 8 squares that all measure out to be 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and just create a little pile of those for now and just set them to the side. We're going to be working with D and F rectangles now. So grab your D and your F fabric. So if you're doing the cranium, your D fabric is going to be this, and your F fabric is going to be this really fun pink. Alright. So this is going to be, again, very simple. We're just going to be creating just bigger rectangles. I'm going to go ahead and just create 8 of these. Just lay them out first, and then we'll lay them all right sides together. I just want to make sure we have the amount we need. Gosh, I cannot get over this colorway. Every time I work on my pieces every month, I'm like, I am so excited for this to be a quilt. I'm going to curl up with this every single night. Alright. Perfect. Perfect. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we have 8 of these pieces together. Go ahead and put them right sides together and do a 1/4 inch seam allowance along the long edge. And then I will meet you back at the ironing board to show you what fabric to press towards. Okay, so we have our little pile of rectangles here. We're gonna go press those open. So if you're doing cranium, you're gonna be pressing towards a darker fabric, but in general, we're pressing towards a D fabric on here. So this is my D fabric. So once again, just give it a little finger press. It's going together really quickly, really quick. It's awesome. Alright guys, so we should have 8 of these rectangles now. We should have 8 squares. We are going to be putting those together now. We're still not working with the bigger ones. Those are still being put to the side. We're just working with what we just pieced together. So for every rectangle, we're putting 2 squares on each side. And we want the C fabric in the upper left-hand corner and the E fabric we want touching the rectangle. So you should have something that looks like this. And we need 4 of these. The D fabric needs to be on the top. Grab an extra square. You should have something that looks like this. And you should still have 4 rectangles left over that we can just put to the side for now. So you should have something that looks like this when we have everything laid out. What we're going to do first, we're going to be putting right sides together. Let's do whatever side you want. I'm going to do the right side first. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these right sides together. I'm actually going to push my other squares aside for now and just work with these. I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance down each side, and then I'm going to take it to the ironing board and press, and then come back and add the other side. That way this is all stitched together, all neatly pressed out of the way, then we can focus on the other side. So let me get these stitched together and I'll meet you back at the ironing board. Alright, so we're going to be pressing these pieces, the seams we're going to be pressing towards the center of the fabric. So the center of the piece, I'm sorry. So basically we have what's going to be a square on each side. So the center of your piece is going to be this rectangle here. So we're going to want our seam allowance pressed towards that so it's laying behind the center. So I'm going to go ahead and have all my pieces rectangle faced up. I'm going to go ahead and press. Getting a little tongue twisted this morning. Alright. Press. Okay, so we should have some pieces that look like this now. I'm just going to keep you here at the ironing table. So what we're going to do is we're going to go grab our other 4 squares. Let me grab them right here. And we're going to put them on the other side now. So we should have our C pieces on the upper left-hand corner, and we should have our E pieces touching the center. So you should have something that looks like this now. So all of our C triangles are on the upper corners, and then the E triangles are touching the center piece. So just like we did before, right sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we'll go ahead, come back here and press towards the center. Alright, let's go ahead and press these towards the center. Again, longer rectangle side up. Go ahead and finger press. Sometimes it helps too to press that seam before you even finger press it like that. Just give it a quick little run over and then press with your fingers. Sometimes you need to do that when fabric doesn't want to cooperate super well for you. Alrighty, so we have all of our rectangles. So let's take that over to the cutting board and we're going to lay everything out to add our last big piece. The squares, and then we're going to connect everything. So let's go ahead and bring it over. Alright, so our last step before completing our blocks are going to be adding these rectangles to the two big squares that we have here. So we have two big D-fabric squares, and we're going to go ahead and add a rectangle on each side. And we're going to sew these right sides together on each side, just like that. So we have two sets of these. And so we should have something that looks like this when we are all done. And then we're going to sew those 1/4 inch seam allowance, same thing. And when we're pressing at the ironing mat, we're going to press towards F. So I'm going to go ahead and get these pieces sewn. Like I did for the longer rectangles here, I'm going to go ahead and sew on the right side of my two bigger pieces just to get those out of the way and pressed away nice and neatly, and then I'll go back and I'll stitch the other side. So let me go do that really quick and show you what it looks like. Alright, so I have my pieces sewn together. I went ahead and pressed towards the F fabric. Unlike the long rectangles that we did where we pressed towards the center, we're actually on this one pressing away from the center once we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and do right sides together. Also, I'm sorry, can I just take a moment? Look at that bird. Look at this fabric. Sometimes I stop and stare at it because I'm just so dang excited. Alright, sorry, got a little distracted. So fun to start seeing things come together. So, just like we did to the other side, right sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, press towards the F fabric, and then we are going to go ahead and put together our two blocks. Okay guys, our bigger rectangles are put together, so we're going to go ahead and put one to the side for now, and we're going to put together a block. So we're going to grab two of our smaller rectangles that we completed earlier, and we're going to put one on the top and one on the bottom, but we want to make sure that we have C fabric in each corner. So make sure when you're doing this, you're not actually doing that by mistake. We want it to have where these rectangles all meet. We have the 4 C triangles in the corner. This is what your finished block should look like. So we're going to go ahead and put right sides together like always, 1/4 inch seam allowance. When you're sewing, just take your time, make sure these seams aren't getting folded with your stitch as you're going. That's very easy to do considering you're paying attention to the back and the front. So just take your time, make sure everything's laying nice and flat, and then once I have both sides sewn together, we'll take this to the ironing board and we will get our seams pressed. Alright, so we should have something that looks like this. We are going to press this open. So they want us to press towards the top and bottom. So we're going to go ahead, definitely give this just an initial press, making sure everything's laying nice and flat on each side. And then go ahead, finger press towards the top. Okay. And then they want us to press also towards the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and press that one more time. Seams laying towards the bottom. And your block is done. We're going to go ahead and repeat the same thing to the other set of pieces that we have. Same exact thing we just did. And then month 3 is all done, guys, which it went so fast. I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and get the other one done, and then we'll review. All right, we are finished with month 3. So you should have 2 beautiful 11-inch squares this month. This is probably my favorite month so far. So fun. You can really start to see the character of these quilts coming together. So I'm getting excited. Hope you guys are too. Alright guys, that is a wrap for month 3. I absolutely loved this month. I thought that was so much fun. I love that you never know what you're going to get. You never know how you're going to put your pieces together that month. They're always so different. This month was a lot of fun. Already so excited for month 4, and I know it's going to be here before we know it. These months are flying. We are going to have a quilt before we know it. It's so exciting. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I am excited for you if you are quilting along with me. Comment below what team you're on. This is Team Cranium. Already obsessed with how it's turning out. If you guys have any questions at all about the pieces that we put together this month, let me know. But for now, go ahead, get these tucked away safely in your little puzzle mystery quilt bin that I hope that you guys have, and get ready for month number 4. Alright, I'll see you guys later.